basically as soon as his tech is finished. So, I mean, he basically should have kept a better eye on the human. What you want to do is, if you see a double racks, then you know they're going to be double pumping rifles. So that means you go straight tier 3 and you go for bears as fast as you can. Because once you have like 3 or 4 bears out, then they'll just plow over the rifles. And if you see mass cast, if you see like 2 or 3, if you see like 3 sanctums back to back with only 1 racks, and you're just going to want to mass dryads, and you might even want to make a ancient wind for fairy dragon. So it's really like a rock paper scissors kind of match, and you just want to counter that first initial push as best you can, and then you basically just gain hero levels on them, and then you go from there. And then obviously, if you see him going tier 3 with workshops, then you're going to want to, you know, expo like 6 times and build 15 AOWs and APs at each base and get bears and a panda, and that's when the game gets really interesting.
Job's done. Job's done. Job's done.
So, like Lalo just said, it is sort of like a rock paper scissors sort of matchup. Well, the good thing about this dual racks rifle push strat is a lot of times nows get tricked out when they say dual racks. I might put my 2 sanctums up next to my expansion, or I'll just put them up at my main, and they don't expect me to get more sources than riflemen sometimes, and that forces them to get. Obviously, they'll be tier 3 getting bears versus riflemen, but once they stop getting bears, we need to make dryads because I still have 2 sanctums making sorceresses, and come on, if Nightelf doesn't have dryads versus like, you know, 5 sorks and 2 breakers, and I have mass riflemen, there's nothing Nightelf can do. So you really need to be careful in seeing what the human player is gonna get, in my opinion. And as you see, I hit.
When you see human players build farms in their base, the main reason that they do that is to see when the Nightelf techs. And the reason is because if the Nightelf techs tier 2, then he knows he's not going to expo. If he stays tier 1, he knows he's either going to expect a push or there's going to be an expo going up. So that's the main reason that you see like humans will build the farm in their base.
So I did, before I started this push, I did build 3 ivory towers. I got 3 ivory towers on my hero. I put them on the hill just so I can get sort of a position advantage. Obviously, they're on the hill and his dryads will miss. Pretty much in this push right now, you want to attack the warden when it's vulnerable. When it's at your rifles, when it's at your mountain king, you focus the warden, and then when he blinks away or moves back, you really, necessarily in this situation, don't want to chase him, because the tree is going to hit your rifles, the AP is constantly attacking your rifles, and like right there, like when he just blinked, I focused that dryad and I got another dryad kill because he blinked away. But when that warden comes back, you want to focus it as much as you can, do as much damage as you can to the warden, like I am right now.
If you take a look at Cecil's gold count right now, his gold count, he has 1400 gold and 300 wood, and he's still not teching tier 3, even though he's seeing mass rifles. Now, in my opinion, I think that's kind of stupid. He has a ton of resources, and his expo is obviously going to go down. Like right now, he's basically just trying to buy time so he can get as much gold out of that mine as he can, and he's still not teching tier 3 against mass rifles. Dryads are never going to beat that many rifles. They never, unless you have like a level 3 panda and level 3 pit lord, you're never going to beat that many rifles with just dryads.
Another thing to tell, this replay isn't a flame versus Cecil. This is just
no,
since
not at all.
Yeah, Lado is a Nightelf player, I'm a human player. This is just, I've had a couple PMs about people asking me how to deal with Warden, and I'm not saying this game is terrible, but it just gives you a general idea on what units to get and strat to do versus Nightelf that expands. And obviously Cecil doesn't play this game that much anymore, but he did practice a little bit before the tournament, and I think this game is pretty decent in duo audio.
Yeah, he just TP'd and just started his tech. And whenever someone just starts their tech right after they TP, it almost makes me think that they forgot to do it. And like they TP to their base and they see their tree and they think, oh shit, I'm screwed. So it almost makes me think like he forgot the tech or something. Because like I said, he should have teched as soon as he saw those rifles. Like as soon as he saw those 4 rifles pushing his expo, he should have teched and started making bears.
At least he didn't at least he didn't TP to his expansion.
Yeah, I do that a lot. That's
Lado's curse. That is your signature move. Every fucking 2 game we play.
I've done it a couple times. What happens is I throw up an expo, and my main and my expo are still at tier 1, and I'll double click my town portal, and it TPs to my expo rather than TPing to my main. I've done that a couple times. I think I actually did it in one of my audios once, but
the last 2 games we played, he did it, and it was just, I was like, the game, like before that, I was just mentioning, I think every member replay I saw of Lado, and even some replays I saw on front page, he would lose his hero because he double click his TP, you know, TP to his expansion. I just thought it was really funny, so.
Yeah, I have a problem. Now, if you'll see, like, he's still not making bears. He made 2 mountain giants, and mountain giants are cool and all, and they look big and whatnot, but they don't do any damage. And his big problem is he doesn't have any damage, because usually the night elf counts on panda for like 90% of the damage of that, like 90% of the damage output of the army. But obviously this is LT, so there's no panda. Now he has a warden, but that warden is shadow strike and blink, so you can kind of consider it like a hero killer, or maybe just to pick off units. Like his army right now really has no damage. And if he would have teched when I said, he probably would have like 6 or 8 bears right now, and if he had 6 or 8 bears, he would be fine, and he'd be able to fight that army no problem. And instead he's putting up ancient protectors at his expo, and ancient protectors against rifle casters do nothing. They basically just buy you time. That's all it does. They don't do any damage. They just buy you time, which is good if you need time, but in this case he doesn't need time, he needs units.
I just see Cecil just now getting the bear upgrade. It is pretty late. He does defend off this push pretty decently though, because I do have to waste my wands on the mountain giants, which you'll see. And pretty much in a little bit, you'll start seeing me make a really dumb mistake on not taping my hero when I need to, and I lose a lot of units. It kind of works out for me in the end too, because when my hero dies and stuff, like I power creep my Mountain King, and that's one of the main things that I did this audio for. You really need a high level Mountain King versus a solo warden, especially in this case when they don't have a panda, they should have a solo warden. Once you kill that warden with level 5 Mountain King, you have level 3 bolt. You can do so much shit to the warden. It's not even funny when you have level 3 bolt.
That's very true. And if he would have done, like I was saying, if he would have went like bears and had like whatever 5 or 6 bears, Priest would probably TP out right now, and then he would get like, I don't know, 8 or 10 breakers before he came back. Am I right, Priest? Yes.
Of course, I would have pretty much won if I TP'd.
And then, yeah, I know. And then what would have happened if, after he gets those 8 or 10 breakers with a level 3 MK, if that warden gets in position that those breakers can focus him, warden becomes useless. So that is a really good way to counter warden. You do level 2 bolt and focus him with those breakers, and warden becomes useless.
So, explain the importance of invulnerability potions and anti-magic potions as a nightelf player, especially when you're doing this strat.
It's like, basically, anytime, usually, I was saying Priest, anytime especially anytime you're doing solo warden, you always want to have invul or anti-magic potion. Either one is fine, it really doesn't matter, because, the regular unit damage is fine. The problem comes, obviously, as Priest is saying, whenever he gets bolted. So what you do is you want to set up for a fight, and then right at the start of the fight, you pop the potion, and then you blink in and you start raping him. Usually, if you have Bear Dryad, I just A-click basically, and I just A-click and control my heroes. But yeah, basically those anti-magic potion and vulnerability potion, it buys you like 8 or 10 seconds or whatever of fighting time, and those 8 or 10 seconds are absolutely crucial whenever it comes to it. Like, if you think about it, you have whatever 6 or 8 bears or something, and you A-click for 8 or 10 seconds. That is a ton of damage where he cannot hurt your hero. And then what happens as soon as that ends up wearing off, he's gonna get bolted, he's gonna get focused, and you just TP out, and you live to fight another day.
As you see right now, since Mark Rage is dead, I am able to, as a mistake, like I mentioned, I am able to power creep my Mountain King a little bit, and I think I do get a little bit lucky on this Goblin Lab that I creep in a little bit. I get an Experience Tome, I get level 5 in Mountain King, which, like I said, is so important, and it just pretty much gives you control of the Warden. that's the whole point of power leveling your Mountain King. I'm pretty sure even if my Archmage was alive right now, I would still push. But since he did die, I'm